Good morning. Today we're going to be working on math. We're on Module 6, and today's lesson 18. We're going to be diving a little bit deeper into even numbers. So you're going to need today either a scratch paper and pencil or a whiteboard and marker, and you're probably going to need 20 counters. So stop right now and grab those supplies so you're ready for the whole math lesson. Okay, so like I said, we're going to keep exploring even numbers. So our objective today is that we can and we will explore even numbers and create pairs. So we're going to be just talking about how even numbers are created and how those connect to doubles and pairs. Similar to what we did yesterday, we're just going a little bit deeper. So look at the number 2. Is 2 even or not even? Oops, that went backwards. 2 is even because we can say 2, 4, 6, 8 like we did yesterday. It's also even because we can say 1 plus 1 equals 2. So it's a double. They have a partner, so they're even. That's something I like to always remember. So if the number has a partner, it's even. When you look at 2, 1 and 1, they each have a partner. So let's add another. Now we have 3. So looking at those 3 dots, is 3 an even number? Does each number have a partner or a pair? It's not even because we don't say 3 when we're counting by 2s, like 2, 4, 6, 8. And it's not even because 1 plus 2 isn't a double. They both don't have a pair. So let's experiment with our counters now to see what else we can discover about even numbers. Remember that we're going to need 20 counters today. So stop now and make sure you have those. All right, right now I want you to place 7 counters down in front of you. Then pair up your counters to decide if 7 is an even number. So you're just using 7. You're not getting another 7 to pair them up. You're taking your 7 counters and making pairs to determine if 7 is an even number. You can pause now and do that. Okay, so what did you decide? Was 7 an even number? Did each number have a pair? No, 7 is not an even number because when I paired them up, I got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1. This one that was left over here did not have a pair. So if you didn't have the same setup that I did, if you paired them differently, check my work and compare it to yours and see if you need to make any changes now. Now take your counters, just 7, and move them into an array form with 2 rows. Think about what addition sentence or equation matches what you see. So pause now to do that. I'll do the same. We should have had 3 plus 4, or 4 plus 3. Because when you go back with our 7, we could have had 4 on the top and 3 on the bottom, or 3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. So this doesn't look like the arrays we have been making because there's not equal groups. So when there are not equal groups, the number is not even. Is this a doubles fact? No. It's not a doubles because we're not adding the same number twice. We're adding 3 and 4. Keep those 7 counters now, and I want you to get 7 more counters. This time, pair your counters to decide if you'll get an even number. So you have 7, and you're going to get 7 more counters and pair them up. Pause to do that. Okay, when you had 7 and you got 7 more, how many did you have? You should have said 14. 14, and that is even because every counter has a partner. So this one is partnered here, partners, 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 partners. There's no counter that's left over without a partner. So even if one of the add-ends isn't even, because 7 is not an even number, we just figured that out, when we double that number, we still get an even number, right? True. Now let's see how many even numbers you can find. So I want you guys to pause the video and take a minute to pair up your counters to see what numbers are even. I want you to write down addition sentences for any even number on your board or scratch paper. So I wanted to just clarify what exactly I meant by that, so I'm going to make myself big here. When we're looking at this, sorry, I want to make sure you can see it. I drew because I couldn't hold up counters, but when I did 7 plus 6, 13 was not even because each number didn't have a pair. There was one left over. But when I did 5 plus 5, all numbers had a pair, so 10, the answer to that question, was even. So I want you guys to just play around with your counters to see how many even numbers you can make using 20 counters. So pause again and work on that now. Nice work. So I'm sure you made a ton of even numbers. Now we're going to take all 20 counters, and some of you may have already done this, but we're going to take all 20 counters and we're going to make an array out of all 20. So there's going to be 2 equal groups in there. I want you to draw your array with 2 columns. So 20 counters of 2 columns. Pause and do that now. This is what you should have gotten. I have 2 rows of 10. We're going to count by 2s all the way up and back. But wait, should we start with 2 or should we start with 0? What do you think? Is 0 even? It can't be even because there's nothing to pair it up with, right? Actually, just like 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 is a doubles fact, 0 is another doubles fact because when you do 0 plus 0, you get 0. So actually, our first even number is 0. So whenever we count even numbers, we're going to start with 0. I want you guys to just practice counting along with me now. You can look at my video screen or you can look at your own counters. So we're going to start with 0. So think 0, 2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Now we're going to go backwards. So think when you take 2 away from 20, what do you have? So 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 0. Nice work. If you want to go back and practice counting those again, feel free to rewind and go back and do that as many times as you want until you feel comfortable counting up and back by 2s. So what we've learned today is we only get a doubles fact when all of the objects have a partner. So I think those are important vocabulary words. Doubles fact is when each object has a partner. If any objects are left over without a partner, it cannot be even. Even numbers have to have partners or pairs. So that's what you're going to practice today in your problem set and your exit ticket. So I'm going to go over those for a second now. Now I know some of you had a hard time turning those in yesterday. So I made sure that everyone's going to be able to make a copy of each one today. You can use the pen tool to write on it and to submit it on Google Classroom. I know some of you like to write it down on paper too and turn in a picture. So if you prefer to write your work down on paper and turn in a picture on Seesaw, that's fine too. As long as you're working hard and doing your work, I don't care which way you turn it into me. So on this first one, you are pairing the objects to decide if the numbers are even. So think about making groups of 2s. If every number has a pair, it's even. If every number does not have a pair, we would say not even. So for number 1, that's all you're doing. I want you guys to skip number 2. Personally, I was a little confused by it when I was working on it, and that was at school with a pencil and paper. So I think it might be a little challenging to try and do online. Numbers 3, 4, and 5 kind of go along with number 2, so you may also skip those. So you can go from number 1 all the way to number 6 today. Number 6 says redraw the following sets of dots as columns of 2 or 2 equal rows. So you have a bunch of dots. You're going to turn them into columns of 2 or rows of 2. Tell me how many dots there are. And then you have to decide if it's an even number or not based on if every number has a pair, like we did in our problem set with the number 7 and the number 14. And then for number 7, you're circling groups of 2 and then counting by groups of 2 to see if the numbers are even and answering the questions about them. Your exit ticket is pretty similar to number 6 here. So let's look at your exit ticket. You are redrawing the following sets of dots as columns of 2 or 2 equal rows. And then you're just telling me how many dots and is it an equal number. I think you guys are going to do a really great job on this lesson today. So have fun, and as always, reach out if you have any questions.